allowed us to learn from the work that are done in other cities, helped provide us with resources, and understands as an organization how important it is that we all come around together with this. So, Ms. Aanstoos.
Mayor, thank you so much for your and the City of Houston's efforts on this campaign to discourage texting while driving. And once again, Mayor Parker has taken a leadership role in this public education campaign to change the dangerous habit that we're all guilty of now and then, of texting while driving. AT&T began the It Can Wait program 4 years ago. But Mayor Parker took it to a new level last year and actually localized it and created the It Can Wait Houston campaign. It Can Wait Houston is much more than just a cute slogan. It really is a campaign, a long-term campaign designed to raise awareness of the dangers of texting while driving and to change those habits. We all need to realize, frankly, that no text is worth dying for. You've heard the statistics. A person who is texting while driving is 23 times more likely to have an accident than someone who's not texting. And I think that we started our campaign kind of focused on youth because we figured, youth grew up with this technology and youth tend to feel pretty invulnerable. But the fact of the matter is that adults are guilty of it too. And so this campaign really needs to resonate with everyone. Mayors United Against Texting While Driving is a big step forward in our goal to make texting and driving as unacceptable as drinking and driving, as Mayor Parker said. Later today, the mayors of those other major Texas cities will also be announcing their local campaigns following the mayor's lead here. And for the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing everything we can to help push that message out and encourage a whole lot of activity on social media to take the pledge via text. And I would say already AT&T has documented 1.8 million people across the country that have taken the pledge online. And that's great, but I would encourage you, even if you've already done it online, please go and do it on your cell phone too, and text in your pledge, not the text and drive. At the end of that 2-week period, we'd really like to see some astounding results from Houston so that we can prove to Texas and the rest of the country that Houston really is serious about this important public safety campaign. I also want to mention that this text does work on all the major wireless carriers. Their partners, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, are partners on a national level. So whoever your service provider is, please, by all means, go and take that pledge. Thank you, Mayor Parker, for your passionate leadership on this subject. I think it's a great example of how important public-private partnerships are. And at the end of the day, I think we'll show that it really has been an effective campaign.
I'll say you made a good point that while AT&T pioneered the slogan, and the telecom industry is fiercely competitive, this is one place where all of the providers have come together and said we can unite around this one initiative because it is that important. I would also suggest that it's an opportunity to sit down again with your kids who are about to drive, your kids who are driving, and as adults, and this is something that you can do as a family, where everybody pulls out their cell phone because, yes, you all have cell phones, and sit down together and go to and text It Can Wait Plegde to 464-329 and reaffirm your commitment. I think we're also a little competitive, and we're a big city, and we want to see that our numbers are good compared to the other cities, but this is about saving lives, and it is about changing hearts and minds. So anybody have particular questions about this?
Mayor, you say that the public campaign has been successful. How exactly do you measure that?
Actually, this is a 4-year public campaign, and I'm going to let Alice talk about the national.
Well, I'm talking your campaign.
And, well, let me let her talk about the national campaign and the metrics they use, and then what we think, why we're going into this new phase.
As I said, nationally, we've already documented 1.8 million online pledges not to text and drive. However, that online ability did not give us, well, it didn't give us the ability to track those pledges by location. And so with this texting, in a city-specific texting code, we will be able to show exactly what the level of participation is city by city. I think that because of Mayor Parker's It Can Wait Houston campaign, there's much more attention about the issue in schools, which is really obviously a very prime target for us to get to those young drivers. And I don't have numbers on the number of schools or kids that have received that message, but I suspect it's pretty high.
Now, why it's important locally, we don't, for the most part, police agencies across the country don't put down in an accident report necessarily what specific distraction it was. There are categories of distracted driving. By focusing attention, we're trying to elevate this where we actually can begin to track statistics on how much of our, how many of our, there are lots of studies showing the percentage of distracted driving accidents caused by texting while driving or reading a phone message while driving, but it's hard to do longitudinal studies by, so you have to do a number of steps first. One of those is to make sure that the police departments actually make note, and then we're going to try to track accident statistics over time.
Yeah, what's the financial penalty on being caught by a police officer texting while driving?
There is no law against texting while driving in the state of Texas. It's been vetoed by the governor at least twice. But it falls under the penalty of distracted driving, and I don't off the top of my head know what that is. But if you have an accident and it's an at-fault accident, not only do you have the cost of the accident itself and the ticket you're going to have, but you have permanent costs to people's lives. And that's the most difficult aspect of texting while driving accidents, just like drunken driving accidents or driving under the influence. It's not just your life that you have the potential to destroy, you can destroy the lives of other people.
So does it have to be probable cause for a police officer to stop you based
There
on?
is no reason to stop someone. There is no law that says you can't, but if you have an accident, yes, you will be sanctioned after the fact. I supported a statewide ban on texting while driving. Obviously, the Texas legislature supported it as well, and there's some definite political differences I have with a lot of the members of the Texas legislature, but this is something that we agreed on, but the governor disagreed. So there is no law that allows someone to stop you. This is about raising public awareness and changing people's mindset about texting while they're driving.
Are the carriers doing anything possibly to develop technology that would prevent it so that it's not an issue?
Yes, we're actively working on that. I can tell you that at AT&T, we have we utilize an app, a free downloadable app called Drive Mode. And as a matter of fact, it comes preloaded at the point of sale in our stores now whenever you buy an Android device. You'll see the It Can Wait decal on the face of the phone, and that app is preloaded on it. What it does is, if you're driving, the app can sense if you're going, I think, over 20 miles an hour, and it automatically kicks in and informs anyone who is trying to text you that you're driving and you're not able to take that text. I think some of the other carriers are doing similar things, and it's just it's all part of that public education, and we're just really trying to use that to drive the message out there. Mayor, if I could, regarding ordinances, There are a few cities, individual cities around the state who have gone out on their own and done ordinances. The problem, including some here in the Houston area, but the problem we see with that is that they are not uniform. And so as you travel across the state, or even as you travel within the greater Houston area, you don't know what the rules are, and you don't know what the consequences are, to your point about what are the fines. And so ideally, there would be some statewide legislation that would standardize that law, and everybody would know when you're driving in Texas exactly what the rules are, just like buckle up for safety.
Yeah, and it was one of the reasons that we have not moved forward as individually as a city, because I agree that it's something that ought to be handled at a state level rather than